Sevens. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and you're ready for another fun-filled week. So I know this weekend was terrible because I woke up on Saturday morning and there was snow on the ground. And then I thought to myself, I'm pretty sure it's May. But anyway, so in our Friday lesson, we talked about the angles of triangles. So 3 angles added up together, we know has to equal 180 degrees. So as a little refresher and as a little bit of a review, if I gave you a triangle like this one right here, and this one was, let's say this angle is 37 degrees, we have that angle, and then this is our mystery angle. This little box in the corner means it's 90 degrees. So we always know that little box means it's 90 degrees. Regardless of anything, it's that a box always means 90 degrees. So to figure out our missing angle, well, we just do 180 and we minus our 2 known angles to get our missing angle. So we do minus 90 and then minus 37. 180 minus 90 is 90 minus 37. 90 minus 37 equals 43. Or no, 53. Yeah, it's 43. All right. So our missing angle would be 43 degrees. Sorry guys, it's Monday. My brain's not completely there yet. So missing angle is 43 degrees. And that's if we are only given one angle and we have a little box in the corner because we know that box equals 90 degrees. For our other triangles, the two angles would be given to us. So we have, let's say it is 60 degrees and 120. So I'm trying to find, oh whoops, it can't be 120. My bad. Say it's 100 degrees and this is 60. So I basically do 180 because it has to equal 180 minus 60 minus 100. 180 minus 60 is 120 minus 100. Our missing angle will be 20 degrees. So we talked about triangles where you have 2 known angles. What if you're only given 1 known angle? Well, that's where we have to apply some of the rules of our different types of triangles into play. So I'll give you an example of one triangle that's really easy to find missing angles for. And funny enough, this one, you don't even need to know 1 angle. That is our equilateral triangle. Our equilateral triangle has all 3 sides the same length. Here's the thing though, remember how when we were talking about naming these different types of triangles, it's whenever you have an equilateral triangle, it's always going to be an acute equilateral because all the 3 angles have to be acute. Well, there's another characteristic to those triangles. All 3 angles are exactly the same. So an equilateral triangle, if it tells you to find all 3 angles, you basically, all you have to do is take 180 and you divide it by 3. And it will give you the same angle for each one. And in an equilateral triangle, every angle would be the same. And that's why you only need the 1 angle for this one. So if I do 180 divided by 3, it equals 60. So all 3 angles of this triangle are 60 degrees. And that's for an equilateral triangle. What if it's just another type of triangle? Let's do an isosceles triangle. These 2 lengths are the same. We have this angle right here, and we have these angles right here. There's a way you can figure out these 2 angles with only given this angle. So if this angle was let's do 100 degrees. If this angle is 100 degrees, I can figure out the other two angles really easily. So we're going to call these angles x. Angles x and x. How do I find the two angles? Well, with an isosceles triangle, these two lengths are the same, and we have this. They share the same long point or the same long line. So this angle has, let's say this length is 5 centimeters. This one would also be 5 centimeters. And then let's say this thing right here is 7 centimeters. These two angles both share a line that is 5 centimeters and 7 centimeters. 5 centimeters and 7 centimeters. The reason why I say it this way is because these angles will end up being equal because of that. So all you have to do for this one is you take 180, because we know it has to equal 180, minus our one known angle, which is 100. This gives us 80 degrees. To find these two angles, all I have to do is take 80 and I divide it by 2. And that would give me the two angles, which in this case is 40. So x equals 40, because I labeled them angle x. And that's all you'd have to do. Pretty simple, right? So I'm not going to go into too many more details for this. This is just a little bit of an intro and a little bit of review. We are going to be doing missing angles of triangles again on Wednesday, but I'd rather move on to quadrilaterals today because personally I find it's a little bit easier, and I don't want to give you guys both tasks because that would be a little bit too much. So that's that. Just keep that in mind for Wednesday. Quadrilaterals. So we know for triangles, all three angles add up to 180. The rule for quadrilaterals, which is any four-sided shape, equals 360 degrees. That's it. Same rules apply for triangles. All four angles, in this case, all four angles must add up to 360. Triangle, all three have to add up to 180. So that's just the difference, is what all angles have to add up to. So let's try it with a square. We know these little squares in the corners mean 90 degrees. So that means every single corner is 90 degrees. So let's add up to see if a square follows this rule. So I do 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90, or 90 times 4 because there's 4 corners. What do they both equal? 90 plus 90 is 180, plus 90 is 270, plus 90 is 360. 90 times 4, 360. So that's our rule for quadrilaterals. What if I gave you an odd-looking quadrilateral? So let's try that out. Let's try... Whoops. Okay, here's our quadrilateral. In this case, 3 angles are going to be given to us. We just have to find the missing angle. So I have, let's say this is 100. This would also be 100. And this is 80. How do I figure out what the missing angle is? I take 360 and I minus my 3 known angles. So 360 minus 100 is 260, minus 100, minus 80. That is 160 minus 80. That equals 80 degrees. So our missing angle is 80 degrees. As you look more into quadrilaterals, things like squares, rectangles, parallelograms, and trapezoids, you'll notice some characteristics between the angles that oftentimes the 2 acute angles are matching and the 2 obtuse angles are matching. Or for squares, all 4 match, or in rectangles, all 4 match. So that's the general rule of thumb with quadrilaterals. Same rules apply for, it's similar technique as triangles, except this time all 4 must add up to 360 rather than 180. And that's all it is. So your worksheet today is going to be basically a bunch of quadrilaterals, and you find out your missing angles. Again, you can have it on a Google form, or you can do it on a sheet of paper, taking a picture, or printing out the PDF and doing it that way, whatever you prefer. And that's going to be your homework for that. Wednesday, we're going to go more into finding triangles with only one no angle. But for now, that's it, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.